For my 34th birthday, my family traveled to Spain for a holiday without informing me. I discovered it through a photo they shared while celebrating with cocktails on the beach. When I inquired about it, my brother chuckled and said, "Because nobody cares about your birthday. Get over it." I simply smiled and replied, "Thanks for reminding me of my place." 3 weeks later, I made a choice they didn't expect. Yesterday, they called me 26 times, pleading and yelling. "Please answer. We need you." I never intended to post here, but I'm so frustrated that I feel the need to express this before I do something rash. I don't care if this gets overlooked. I just need to share it. Here's the situation. My family isn't the sentimental type. They're not big on hugs or saying, "I love you." But even for us, this is extreme. I'm not just talking about forgetting my birthday. That would be whatever. People forget things, right? But this felt deliberate. Looking back, the family group chat had been unusually quiet for the past few weeks. Normally, there's at least one person complaining about the Wi-Fi or asking if anyone has seen the remote, but there was nothing. I messaged last week about plans for Mom's birthday, but got no response. I assumed everyone was just busy. Honestly, I didn't think much of it. I've always been the less important sibling, not the fun one. It's always Henry, my younger brother with his silly jokes, or Milana, my sister with her drama, while I'm the one they call when their phone won't turn on. I've grown accustomed to it. So, it was my birthday yesterday, 34 years old. Not a significant milestone, but still, I expected at least a text from Mom. I woke up to silence. I checked my phone and found nothing but spam and some bills. I wasn't even angry at first. I was just like, wow, whatever. I made coffee, scrolled through Reddit, and tried not to dwell on it, thinking maybe they were planning a late call or something. Around noon, I was on Instagram, aimlessly scrolling, when I came across Milana's story. It showed the 5 of them, Mom, Dad, Henry, Milana, and Aunt Edith, sitting on a beach, wearing sunglasses and clinking fancy drinks together with that annoying boomerang effect. The caption read, "Family trip. Cheers," and had a bunch of sun emojis. The location was Costa del Sol. I had to do a double take. Are you kidding me? I checked the date. It was posted this morning. I just sat there, checking the family chat again. I scrolled back and found nothing. No mention of a trip, no heads up, not even a lie about being busy. I sent a message in the chat saying something like, "Nice vacation. Thanks for the invite." Nobody replied, not even the usual reactions. After waiting a bit, I called Henry since he's usually the one who picks up. He did after 3 rings, and there was background noise and wind. He sounded half-drunk. I asked him seriously if they all flew to Spain without telling me. He just laughed, straight up laughed, and said, "Nobody cares about your birthday, Stan. Get over it." I stared at my phone for a moment and replied, "Thanks for reminding me where I stand." He kept laughing, and I hung up, shaking with anger. I wanted to throw my phone against the wall, but I didn't. Instead, I slammed the cabinet door so hard that one of the shelves fell. Honestly, I stood there for a while thinking, is this really happening? I messaged Milana directly, nothing. I called Mom, and it went straight to voicemail. Dad did the same, and Aunt Edith didn't even let it ring. I understood. They were probably all on some beach, phones on Do Not Disturb, living their best lives. I kept telling myself, it's just a trip. It wasn't about the trip. It was about how intentional this felt. Here's the thing, no one really understands. Henry has never liked me, not even as kids. He's always been the one who gets away with everything, the loudest in the room, saying whatever he wants. Mom laughs it off like, "Oh, that's just Henry." If I ever speak up, I get the silent treatment for days. There's this running joke in our family that I'm the robot because I don't make a scene. I've never really fit in, but I never thought they would actually cut me out like this, especially not on my birthday. I tried calling one more time to see if maybe someone would realize how messed up this was. Nothing. Even Milana, who usually at least sends a gift, left me on read. I even checked my email, thinking maybe they sent something there. Nope. The worst part is, I know exactly why Henry did it. He's always been oddly competitive with me, even though I don't compete back. He'll start arguments over nothing just to get a reaction. He hates that I don't react. So what does he do? He leaves me out of the one thing that's supposed to be about family, and then rubs it in my face. Classic Henry. Honestly, I think Mom just goes along with whatever he says now, because it's easier than dealing with his tantrums. Dad doesn't get involved. He just sits there like a ghost. Milana has always been closer to Henry, so I'm just like the side character in my own family. So yeah, I spent my birthday alone, watching them clink glasses on some beach in Spain, pretending the oldest son doesn't exist. I ordered takeout, scrolled through their stories a few times, and then muted everyone. I kept thinking maybe someone would call. Maybe there's a reason, but there wasn't. They simply didn't want me there. I could have handled, hey, we're doing a family thing, but it's not for you. But this is something else. I'm not going to let this slide. I'm not saying I'm plotting some crazy revenge or anything, but I'm not going to be the doormat anymore. They want to make it clear that I'm not part of the family? Fine. Message received. The thing is, they all rely on me for everything back home. Tech issues, bookings, even the boring stuff like online bills. I know where all the switches are, literally and figuratively. I'm not going to blow up their spot, but let's say next time they need something, I'm not picking up. And honestly, I don't even feel guilty about it. I'll update if anything happens. I'm not sure what comes next, but I'm done pretending this is normal. Update 1*, so I didn't expect to post again, but honestly, things just keep getting weirder. It feels like I'm watching a strange family reality show where I'm the only one not in on the script. I'm still angry, but I started noticing things that made everything feel even more messed up. After the birthday incident, I stopped messaging. I wasn't about to beg for attention, so I muted all their stories and left the group chat unread. I figured they could enjoy their family trip while I focused on myself. I started going to the gym again, met up with some friends, and tried to keep busy. I thought maybe they'd message me when they got back or at least pretend nothing happened, which is usually how my family operates, just sweeping things under the rug. But no, I heard nothing for about 2 weeks. Not even a meme from Milana, which is wild because she sends memes for everything. Then, out of the blue, I got a text from Henry. I didn't see it at first. It was just one line, no context. Hey man, can you check on the Wi-Fi at Mom's? I literally laughed out loud. No apology, no sorry we ditched you. Just straight back to Stanley, the family tech guy. I wasn't surprised, but I thought, wow, at least pretend I'm a person. I didn't respond. I kept scrolling. 5 minutes later, he called, but I let it ring out. Then he texted again, more annoyed this time. The Wi-Fi is down. Mom is freaking out. Can I just do my thing and fix it from wherever you do that? I just put my phone face down and went for a walk. When I got back, there was a message from Mom, all polite, as if she hadn't ignored me for weeks. Hi, hope you're well. Can you help with the Wi-Fi? I left her on read. Dad sent a sad face emoji. Classic. Over the next couple of days, it felt like they remembered I existed, but only as a utility. The group chat lit up again, but none of it was about what actually happened. It was all, can you reset the router? The smart lock is acting weird. Dad can't get into his email, and so on. Not a single person mentioned Spain. Not one person said sorry. Just back to business as usual, like nothing ever happened. This is how it's always been. Henry gets away with everything, Mom and Dad play dumb, and Milana just goes with whoever's loudest. I get to be the guy they call when something's broken. I stopped answering everything and muted the chat for the first time. I didn't feel guilty about it. If they want to pretend I'm only around when they need something, fine. I'll show them what that actually feels like. A week went by, and I started getting messages from Milana, which were more passive-aggressive. She said she didn't understand why I was being so cold, that Mom was stressed, and that it wasn't that serious. I almost replied, but then Henry jumped in and said maybe if I wasn't so sensitive, I'd be included more. I just blocked him for a bit. I let the Wi-Fi stay down. I know exactly what's wrong, but I'm not fixing it. I'm the one who set up the whole system at Mom and Dad's. I know every password, every backup, and every little thing that makes it work, but I'm not doing it. Not anymore. Another thing is my parents have this rental property they use to make extra money through Airbnb. Obviously, they aren't tech savvy, so I always handled the listing, the messages, and even the smart lock, which is again on my account. It was just easier for them. But now I notice there are like 4 missed calls from Dad. I check my email and see a notification about a guest trying to check in, but unable to get in. I sigh. I know what this means. Dad tries to call again, but I let it go to voicemail. Then I get a text from Aunt Edith, who never texts unless someone's sick. She says, "Can you please help your parents? They're stressed about the rental." I don't even respond. I order a pizza, open YouTube, and zone out. Later that night, I get a notification from the Airbnb app still on my phone, saying there's a problem with the listing. It looks like the account has been flagged for inactivity. I know they'll figure it out eventually, but they'll have to call customer service, and that's a nightmare. I just lay back and think, yeah, let them handle it for once. I know it sounds cold, but honestly, after the way they treated me, I have zero sympathy. A day or two later, Henry shows up at my apartment unannounced. He bangs on the door, yelling my name. I open it just enough to see his face. He's furious. He says, "What's your problem, man? Why are you being so dramatic? Just fix the Wi-Fi and unlock the rental." I tell him, maybe you should call someone who cares. He gets in my face and pushes the door harder. I push back and tell him to leave. He tries to slap the door with his palm, but I slam it shut. I hear him cursing as he walks away. After that, I start getting texts from Milana saying I'm making things hard for everyone, that I need to stop acting like a child. I'm done. I block her too for a few days. Things go quiet. Then Mom calls, and this time she leaves a voicemail. She says she doesn't know what's going on with me, that they need my help, and that I'm being unreasonable. I save the voicemail and delete the rest. I don't reply. It's like they can't see that I'm not their on-call tech support. I'm not just a number in the group chat. If they want to treat me like I don't exist, they can live with that. I'm not fixing anything. I'm not checking any more messages. I'm not helping with the rental. If they want to figure out how to reset the router, they can Google it like everyone else. The last thing that happened before I wrote this, I saw on my phone that another guest left a bad review for the rental. Apparently, they couldn't get in and nobody answered their messages. I know my parents are going to freak out. Airbnb doesn't mess around with bad reviews. If they get too many, they lose their listing, but that's not my problem anymore. So yeah, that's where it stands now. I'm not even worried about what they'll do. For once, they get to feel what it's like to be ignored when they actually need something. I'm not saying this is the end, but I'm not done either. If you think I'm being harsh, I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes you have to show people what happens when you stop playing the part they wrote for you. And trust me, this is just the beginning. I'll update if anything wild happens next. Something tells me they're not going to learn the easy way. Update 2 asterisk. It's been a strange couple of weeks since everything went down. Honestly, I thought by now they'd figure out how to fix their own mess, or at least leave me alone, but apparently not. The group chat was quiet for a bit, then it started blowing up again, but this time it was way more desperate. Not just the usual whining about tech issues. I'm talking triple texts, missed calls, even Aunt Edith trying to get involved. She never calls unless it's serious, and even then, she usually just sends a card afterward. I didn't even bother listening to her voicemail. I deleted it right away. The weird part was I started getting random messages from numbers I didn't recognize. At first, I thought it was spam, but then I realized it was probably Airbnb guests or maybe even neighbors saying things like, "Hey, I'm at the house. Can't get in. Is this the right number?" I just ignored them. I could have responded, but honestly, at that point, I thought, nah. If my family wants to pretend I'm not part of the family, they can handle their own emergencies. Not my circus. Then Henry tries again. He shows up at my place without warning on a Sunday afternoon, pounding on the door. I open it, and he's already angry. He starts yelling about how I'm ruining everything. He says Mom's freaking out. Dad's not talking. Milana is crying, which is probably true, but she cries about everything. He starts shoving me in the chest, and I shove him back, telling him if he touches me again, he's getting thrown out. He backs off, but only a little. He says I'm being petty, that this is going too far, that I'm punishing everyone for something that was just a joke, and I need to grow up. I tell him, you left me out, remember? I'm not fixing your mess. If you want help, try asking someone who cares about your birthday. He tries to get in my face again, so I slam the door. I hear him yelling outside, then stomping away and hitting the wall on his way out. Later that night, I get a call from Milana, but I send it to voicemail. Her message is all over the place. She's crying and angry at the same time. She says, I'm breaking up the family. Dad's not sleeping, Mom's blood pressure is up. Airbnb keeps threatening to cancel their account, and the guests are leaving bad reviews. She says they're losing money. People are talking, neighbors, family, friends, and they don't know what to do. She tries to guilt trip me, saying I'm punishing Mom for something Henry did. But I've heard this routine before. She's always been the one who smooths things over, but this time, not even she can mediate. I start getting emails from Airbnb about urgent actions required and guests locked out. I know exactly what's wrong with the smart lock. I have the admin permissions, and there's a whole two-step process they can't get past without me. I'm the only one with the code. I could fix it in 2 seconds, but I just don't. I get why people might think that's harsh, but after everything they've done, I can't make myself care. If anything, I'm glad they finally have to deal with something real. For once, it's not just me picking up the slack. My mom texts me, which is rare since she hates texting. She asks me to please call, saying things are getting out of control. Guests are threatening legal action, which I doubt, but whatever. And Milana is having panic attacks. I just leave her on read. She calls later, and I let it go to voicemail. I hear her voice shaking, trying not to yell but clearly upset. She says she doesn't understand why I'm doing this, and that she raised me better. I almost call her back, but then I remember her clinking glasses in Spain, not thinking twice about leaving me behind. Then Henry starts blowing up my phone again, but now he's threatening me. He says if I don't fix it, he'll come over every day. He says he'll tell everyone in the family that I'm the reason they lost all this money. I block his number again. He tries messaging through other people, mutual friends, even my ex, which is wild since she hasn't spoken to me in months. He's desperate. I hear from one of those friends that Henry is telling people I'm unstable and having a breakdown. I just laugh, classic Henry, always spinning things to make himself the victim. The best part is I see on the Airbnb dashboard that their listing is now suspended due to too many bad reviews and complaints. Apparently, guests started leaving things behind, couldn't get in or out. Someone even left a review saying they had to sleep in their car. I know it's unfortunate for the guests, but that's not my fault. My parents were the ones who decided I was only good for tech support and not worthy of a plane ticket. Now they get to see what it's like when the robot stops running the show. I get a call from Dad, which is rare since he usually stays in the background, never taking sides. He leaves a voicemail that's all just heavy breathing, and then finally says, "You need to fix this, Stanley, or we're all screwed." I don't respond. He sends a follow-up text, just one line. I'm disappointed. I laugh again, wondering if he was disappointed when they toasted my birthday without me. The financial situation is worsening for them. I hear from Milana, who keeps finding ways to message me even after I block her, that they lost their biggest summer booking. Apparently, guests are threatening to sue. The cleaning service won't show up because they can't get in. Dad is trying to get the listing back up, but can't access anything because all the verification goes through my number. They're locked out of everything. I know I could fix it in 2 seconds, but I won't. Aunt Edith calls again and leaves a voicemail. This time, she's not even pretending to be nice. She says I'm being cruel, that family should always come first, and that I need to think about my parents' health, that they're too old for this stress. I just delete it. I'm not the bad guy here, no matter how they try to spin it. I get a text from Henry that simply says, "You win." Not even a period. I know he doesn't mean it. He's never been able to admit when he's actually lost. He just wants me to fix things and return to normal, but I'm not doing it. Not this time. The last straw for them. I hear from a neighbor I actually like. She's chill. She tells me people are talking. Word has gotten out that the place is a mess, guests are angry, and cops were called for a noise complaint. Not my problem, but still. My parents are mortified. I just nod along and say, "Yeah, that sucks." Now I'm just waiting. I know they're going to try something else. They always do. But for the first time in my life, I feel like I have the upper hand. I'm not fixing anything. I'm not answering calls. I'm not coming to the rescue. Let them figure it out. I'm not sure what comes next, but I'll keep you posted. If they thought I was just going to roll over and let them treat me like a nobody, they picked the wrong time. Final update asterisk, I woke up to my phone blowing up. I haven't seen notifications like this since the time Henry got locked out of his car at 3 a.m. and called everyone from the family tree plus a pizza guy. But this was different. It wasn't just texts, it was missed calls, voicemails, even Aunt Edith's old landline number popping up. 26 calls total, all in one day. No exaggeration, I counted. The group chat was chaos. I scrolled through walls of text. Milana saying she can't sleep, Mom dropping guilt bombs about family, Dad trying to sound calm but barely holding it together, and Henry, who was all over the place, half angry, half begging, throwing insults and then apologizing in the same breath. At one point, he said he was coming over, then 2 hours later said forget it, that he never wanted to see me again. Then 5 minutes later, he asked if I would just please reset the smart lock for the rental. It was almost funny. I wasn't planning to check the messages. but seeing the number of missed calls made me curious about how bad it was. I played one of the voicemails, Mom's voice shaky, trying not to yell but also trying not to cry. She said the Airbnb was a wreck, guests were threatening to sue, there was a cleaning bill they couldn't pay because they were locked out of the account, and Airbnb was talking about taking down the listing for good. She said she had never been so embarrassed, that people were asking what happened, and that Dad hadn't slept in days. I put my phone down, made coffee, and tried to ignore it. I got another call, this time from Milana, but I just watched it ring out. She sent a bunch of voice notes, some of them crying, others saying I'm destroying the family. I blocked her number and started blocking all of them. Henry, Dad, Aunt Edith. I muted the group chat. I knew they'd find another way to reach me, but for now it was quiet. Then Henry actually showed up at my door without warning, pounding on it like he owned the place. I opened the door, and he tried to barge in, but I leaned against the frame and told him to back off. He said, "I've made my point. I've punished everyone enough. Now I need to just fix it." He started getting louder, so I pushed him back out, and he tried to slap the door, but I slammed it first. He stood outside yelling for a while, then kicked the wall and stomped down the stairs. A neighbor texted me later, asking if everything was okay since she heard shouting. I told her it was just family drama, nothing to worry about. I checked my email and saw a notification from Airbnb about the account being deactivated due to too many complaints and unauthorized access. The rental is basically dead. I know for a fact this was their emergency fund, and they were counting on this summer to make up for some debts they racked up last year. I also know Henry has been bragging to his friends for months about how the place pays for itself and how easy it is to run a business when you have a brother who does all the boring stuff for free. I didn't just change passwords or disconnect apps. I let everything play out, watched the bookings stack up, then left them hanging when it actually mattered. They had guests showing up to a locked house, cleaners refusing to come, neighbors complaining about trash. One guest even went to the police to report being scammed, which is hilarious. That's not on me. I didn't take anyone's money. I get a text from Dad that simply says, "You need to fix this." I delete it. It's wild how quickly they went from ignoring me to acting like I'm the only person that matters. Even Aunt Edith, who always said I was too serious growing up, is suddenly calling me her last hope. It's like they made it crystal clear I'm not part of the club. But now I'm supposed to drop everything and bail them out? Nah. People keep asking why Henry acts this way. Is it just sibling rivalry? Honestly, I think it's about control. Ever since we were kids, he's been the center of attention, the one who could do no wrong. If he wanted something, he got it. If I wanted something, I had to jump through hoops. When I stopped caring what he thought, he started getting nastier. Mom and Dad always let him get away with it because it was easier than dealing with his tantrums. Milana just sides with whoever's loudest. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I never threw anyone under the bus like they did to me. Now they're all scrambling. They're not just losing money, they're losing face. Neighbors are talking, family friends are asking questions. The whole summer is basically ruined for them. And through all this, not one person has actually apologized. Not once has anyone said, "Hey, maybe we messed up." It's just blame, blame, blame. I saw Henry post a sad face story on Instagram, something about fake people and not being able to trust anyone. I almost laughed. Then I saw Milana liking it and a bunch of their friends commenting, but none of them actually know what happened. I left it alone. I'm not here to explain myself to anyone. So yeah, that's where it stands. 26 missed calls, a dead rental, and a family that finally has to deal with their own mess. I'm not going to fix it. I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to be the one who makes everything better. They want to know where they stand with me? Now they know. If you're expecting a neat ending, I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes you don't get closure. You just get the last word. I'm not sorry, not even a little. They made their choice, and I made mine. That's it for now. I'm not sure if I'll post again, but if I do, it won't be because they asked.